Possibility exists that either two hurricanes or two tropical storms will make landfall in the United States next week. Two tropical systems are likely headed towards the mainland of the United States for next week. It is not strange for two storms to hit different parts of the Atlantic basin at one time. It is very rare, however, for two storms or two hurricanes to hit the mainland at the same time. This happened during the Great Depression. Two tropical storms or hurricanes may make landfall in the United States early next week. And that's as unusual as it sounds. Both tropical systems, one in the Western Caribbean Sea and the other one east of the Leeward Islands, will eventually become tropical storms Laura and Marco. Aside from each becoming the record earliest 12th and 13th named storms in any Atlantic hurricane season, this sets up a surreal scenario with two forecast cones, one for each storm, both pointed at the mainland of the United States at roughly the same time early next week. But there are a lot of uncertainties in this forecast, specifically when two tropical cyclones come into relatively close proximity. Take, for example, if one of these systems could dominate and help squash the other, a possibility that has been raised by meteorologists in Florida. Scenarios have, however, occurred in the past. Throughout the Atlantic basin, from the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean Sea to the coast of West Africa, it is common, specifically during the peak of the hurricane season, for multiple storms and hurricanes to be in progress. It is not unusual for one storm to make landfall in the United States as another is doing so in Central America or in the Caribbean Sea. Tropical storm experts have stated that there are several examples of tropical storms or hurricane landfalls throughout the Atlantic basin that have happened within 24 hours of each other. Most recently, Hurricane Irma made a Category 5 landfall along the north coast of Cuba just before midnight on September 8th in 2017. At that same time, Hurricane Katia made landfall along the Mexican Gulf Coast, only 1,200 miles west of Irma. It was also mentioned that in 2004, Hurricane Jeanne slammed into eastern Florida around midnight on September 26th. Just over 48 hours earlier, Ivan's second life over the Gulf of Mexico came to an end when it limped ashore in Louisiana on the night of September 23rd, 7 days after its devastating Category 3 landfall in Alabama. Examples of a landfall in the mainland U.S. at nearly the same time as another affecting Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands include, in 1998, Tropical Storm Hermine in Louisiana on September 20th, whilst Hurricane George in St. Croix, then Puerto Rico, the following day. 1979, Tropical Storm Frederick moved into Puerto Rico on the morning of September 4th, whilst Hurricane David made its final landfall in Georgia later that afternoon, after it previously scraped across eastern Florida the previous day. However, there was one documented case of two mainland U.S. landfalls happening at the same time, and happening in the Gulf of Mexico nonetheless. On September 5 in 1933, a Category 3 hurricane made landfall at Brownsville, Texas at the same hour, 12 a.m. A tropical storm moved ashore at Cedar Key in Florida, according to Colorado State University tropical scientists. Just 23 hours prior to the tropical storm's Gulf Coast landfall, the storm, known as the Treasure Coast Hurricane, moved ashore in eastern Florida at Category 3 intensity. An archived daily weather map showed this information. It says that the surreal sight of one hurricane raking through Florida while another lurked off the south This coast only about 1,000 miles away. Well, there are two systems out there. Let's hope they will dissipate earlier than later. Take the necessary precautions in place because they're expected to make landfall in the United States next week. Ensure that you have flooding and other hurricane plans in place. Thanks for watching the Learning Academy. Subscribe and watch some more.